September 18th, 2010. For most people, it was a normal Tokyo game show. But that day, it left a bitter taste in producers' mouths. Not only the players, but everyone in attendance too, including the voice actresses. This incident is dubbed the 918 incident, or, how the boss would call it, the worst, most despair-inducing incident in the history of idol games. As we have mentioned before in the Idolmaster 2 review, Idolmaster 2 was a notorious title. Yes, it is because of the unfavorable decisions, especially the roster cut. But the major fuel to the calamity was the PR moves in this event. This took place in a poor illuminated scenario. The event started as usual, and the fans are very excited after the announcement of Idolmaster 2. Of course, the seiyus were there as well. But then Yozo Sakagami, the series producer, quickly left the stage after he announced that Ryugo Komachi, aka Iori, Azusa, Ami, and their producer, Ritsuko, would not be playable. That did give the message that the producer knew people wouldn't like it, and fans considered it a cowardly action. Especially since after that, it was left to the voice actresses on stage to handle the negative atmosphere. This strategy is called the Seiyu Shield, and it is one of the worst practices. Those who know the Kimono Friends incident may understand this term. The atmosphere was so bad, it was reported according to both the attendees and official articles that Naomi Wakabayashi, Ritsuko's voice actress, was on the verge of tears. The actual reason of this is still unknown, but the negative reception so far surely would break anyone involved in the project. Worse still, it was pointed out that even though the phrase "Aimasu desyo," "Aimasu," was said as usual, the attendees did not respond as usually. No cry for encore, only silence. Interestingly enough, the crew seemed to expect this. As the video showed, the stage lights were seen being lowered as soon as the voice actresses left the stage. Considering the tight schedule of Tokyo Game Show, however, it was perhaps by default no encore was planned, regardless of the controversy. It must have been a nightmare for the Idolmaster team. The resentment against Jupiter was very apparent as well. When Jupiter was revealed on stage, the amount of glow sticks quickly diminished. It was said that the negative reception was mainly due to the perception of Idolmaster as a gal game. Within this dating simulation genre, all of the characters are usually female, and any other male characters are considered, or actually, romantic rivals. Wait, Hokuto, was this why you existed? Yukiho, we know Hokuto flirted with Makoto in Makoto's route, but please put your shovel down, please. Many players considered Jupiter's addition to be an attack on the fanbase. The fanbase even slandered the new voice actors. They spread rumors that the game would take a betrayal setting as well. Well, it sort of happened with Miki in Idolmaster SP, so let's leave it to the audience's imagination. It is very likely that these reactions to Jupiter would have been far more positive if they had not been for 918's events. The removal of Ryugo Komachi from being playable was really hated too. People were angry enough when Miki became unplayable in Idolmaster SP. Seeing 5-year characters be removed so easily certainly would be met with strong backlash. Though, in a perspective, keeping all 13, even though not all of them are playable, completely intact is amazing. Usually, sequels would easily remove characters and replace them with new characters, especially when long time skips are involved, or have new characters entirely replace the roster. For example, Tales of Destiny to Tales of Destiny 2. Spoilers, Stan got killed. He's completely unplayable in the sequel. This fact stung even worse since the promotional videos before the Tokyo Game Show 2010 showed all the 13 idols performed together, only to be told 4 of them would be unplayable. The fans and even articles on Famitsu stated that even though the event was supposed to be a prep rally, they would say it's otherwise. Even the director of the game, Akihiro Ishihara, later said in an interview, "Anyway, it wasn't a secret that I was hated for this. I should have taken into account the atmosphere we created before we kidnapped some of the idols. This misuse of information and the accidental reversal of the meaning makes me feel guilty. It is truly hard to make decisions when examples were virtually non-existent." More fuel to the fire. Master Artist 2 CDs were announced. Worse, it was announced that only the 9 playable idols get to receive CDs. Unit A, which consists of Haruka, Hibiki, and Miki. Unit B, which consists of Chihaya, Makoto, and Takane. And Unit C, which consisted of Yayoi, Yukiho, and Mami. Yes, Iori, Ami, Azusa, and Ritsuko didn't receive any. At least, in this specific CD series. It confirmed further that they were serious with the roster cut. Even worse, via the character CD sales, it would determine which unit would sing the new unit CD, the Idolmaster 2, The World Is All One. As mentioned before, this is essentially AKB's very controversial AKB commercial code. This term describes the business model where the idols of the group AKB48 compete for sales numbers. Whoever garners the largest fandom, indicated by the sales numbers, will be chosen to sing in a new group song. This business model is a recipe for a large amount of fighting between the fans, especially when only some of the idols would be chosen. Would this boost sales? Yes, but this is notably dirty. Of course Bandai Namco would receive backlash for this. Due to the backlash, it was announced that Ami, Iori, Azza, and Ritsuko would get their Master Artist 2 CDs dubbed for Season 2. For this voting, the voting range expanded. Unit D, which consisted of Iori, Ami, and Azza. Unit E, which consisted of Ritsuko, Kotori, and the producer. Yes, us, the players. And finally, Unit F, everyone. From Unit A, B, C, D, and E. The votes were in, only to have the soundtrack to be listed that everyone got to sing the new Unit CD based on their units. Bandai Namco seemed to see this voting thing as very silly as well. They didn't care anymore. Better to have everyone included and not get any backlash for any cuts. That is the extent of the 9/18 incident, but the fiasco was not over yet. On September 19, 2010, Nico Nico Doga took off the Idolmaster tag on its video service, thus effectively removing the series from Nico Nico Doga's Big 3. Why was this? Was this done by the request of Bandai Namco to reduce the spread of the backlash? Or was this purely on Nico Nico Doga's decision? One thing for sure, this would make everyone very, very angry. Then the Famitsu magazine was released. The magazine seemed to report that the staff, unspecified if this is the development team or the other members within the company, opposed the inclusion of Jupiter. But they were forced into adding them. Everyone knew this was a risk, especially when the extent of the risk was still unknown. On September 19, 2010, as well as Toma and his voice actor, Terashima Takuma, appeared on the 60th broadcast of the Idolmaster station. On the 61st, it featured Hokuto and his voice actor, Kanbara Daichi. Lastly, on the 62nd, it featured Shota and his voice actor, Yoshitsugu Matsuoka. This, of course, met with mostly negative reactions, notably with a comment made by Asami Imai as Chihaya stating she felt a storm coming, taken as a reference to the backlash. The script of the broadcast depicted the boys as being rude to the girls too, which made everything even worse. The fans were already in a very bad mood at this point. It was reported that the radio pages of Asami Imai, Azumi Asakura, Manami Numakara, Yumihara, Takuma Terashima, Daichi Kanbara, and Yoshitsugu Matsuoka were vandalized. With the shaky state of the community, Danketsu 2010 was released. Not well received too, especially since the lyrics. It was pointed out that while the lines of some idols were changed, several stayed the same. This led many to believe some idols had not grown since their initial release. Although, in retrospective, the timeline got rebooted, it makes more sense to have Danketsu 2010 to be a song in their level 1 state again. Takane's non-existent lines were also received badly by some too, viewed as an indication that the team had no vision of the character. Continuing with the already plummeting reception from the fans, upon closer inspection, the order of the idols talking in the song doesn't take account Ryugu Komachi. This can be seen as the song being future-proof, but not at the time. People perceive this as the company trying to keep a false sense of unity, especially when in Idolmaster 2, their roles are severely diminished. People mentioned that the last chorus was poorly thought out. Everyone all together, everyone all together, everyone all together is an Idolmaster. Though in Idolmaster 2, the game emphasizes asking the leader's opinion as opposed to the unit as a whole. People even pointed out that the song had Mami, Miki, and Ritsuko refer the in-song producer with the nicknames they use, Ni-chan, Honey, and Producer respectively. In the game, they use nicknames at different points in the storylines. To complete the bad reception, the lyricist of Danketsu is Akihiro Ishihara, in other words, Idolmaster 2's director. Danketsu quickly came into scrutiny. The fans don't trust the director anymore. People also noticed the lack of Dearly Stars characters in Idolmaster 2. It certainly had been expected that the game would shift back to 765 Pro. But Dearly Stars were marketed as part of Second Vision. The lack of Dearly Stars content aside from their manga series were viewed as the company wanted to break from Dearly Stars, especially considering poor sales. Eventually, the Dearly Stars did return, as DLCs for performance only at least. The trio gained a surge of popularity again on Nico Nico Doga at the time. There was even an internet petition made to have Idolmaster 2 reworked, making the game drop the male idols and have Ryugu Komachi be the main rivals instead. Well, the development team didn't listen, but Sakagami did make a statement about it, as follows. I have received many opinions in regards to the Idolmaster 2. The 4 members of Yugo Komachi, Ritsuko, Iori, Azusa, and Ami are fellow members of 765 Production, and while they appear as emerging rivals, they are still part of the future of the Idolmaster. They have always been idols of 765 Production and will continue to do so, as their activities with 765 Production do not change. Please be assured of this. We are aware that the male idols have upset several producers. We have talked long about the in-house pros and cons. However, despite this upsetting feeling, these producers we must unite as producers and idols to grow our forces and deepen our ties through the power we have together. We are confident in this and in the future of the Idolmaster. We have often thought that we will and have left the best of the past works within future games in order to create a familiar feeling as we move to the next one. Like a road, we must continue together moving step by step. Also, I too am very disappointed that online battle play cannot function in the Xbox 360 edition. Well, he did keep his words. In Shiny Fiesta, Ami, Iori, Azusa, and Ritsuko returned as playable characters. This kept onwards too. Also, for some reason, Ishihara in the interview included in the brochure said the following in the PS section at the bottom of the page as follows. PS. Though we usually move straight forward ahead in full force, occasionally we appear to have failed despite being created as an act of love. Please forgive us for this and continue to follow us in the future. Times don't seem like they'll ever be kind to... And also, because of these projects, everything seems to have stopped. Ishihara-P, why? You're the director. You should have kept the unity of the producers. This part of the interview gives the impression that Ishihara-P was not being serious. Not to mention with the scrambled keyboard typing here, which seems to be a meme to express frustrated screams for humorous situations. Not nice. That's essentially the end of the PR nightmare. The live reignited the good spirits of the fans, having them look toward the future. The announcement of the true Idolmaster anime was received very well too, with the anime taking many elements of the Idolmaster 2, which didn't seem to be a problem for many. The good news uplifted the spirits even further. And then, the Idolmaster 2 was released. Not that well received, especially considering the emotional sting many players had gone through before its release. That's most of the extent of Idolmaster 2's infamy. Looking back again, it had been 9 years, huh? Really amazing to see not only Idolmaster still survive, but thriving now. This level of fiasco would have broken the series and the development team to bits. Phantom pain. It's all in the past now. We do know Idolmaster 2 is a fun and entertaining game, and Bandai Namco vowed and still kept all 13 idols playable to this day. The game was well received by the Western fanbase even if it doesn't have an English version, but those who forget the past will be doomed to repeat it. We can be sure Bandai Namco Studios remembers this incident very well. It's our turn to study their mistakes. This black mark on the Idolmaster history is an important study of how not to handle backlash and ethics as those who represent the games. And if I may insert something by myself, it is nothing short of amazing that the current landscape of the Idolmaster includes Jupiter, the group of idols who was said to destroy this series, and we have recently had concluded Bandai Namco Entertainment Festival, where Jupiter was mainly on the forefront of that. Seeing that just brings the tears to my eye. I'm very sorry. I can't help myself but cry.